All right, let's try this again. This thing is acting real funny. So I lowered the bandwidth a little bit more. All right, let's see what this thing is going to do tonight. Can you guys hear me? I don't know why Ustream. Ustream is so janky. Let's see who's on the phone. All right, what's up? Who's calling?
What up, everybody? It's your boy Crispy.
What's up? What's up, Crispy Puppy?
Oh, Tariq, like having baby not a weird life. Hey, but now Tariq, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Who's calling?
Hey, I got to ask you, did you hear about that? And turn it down, baby, turn it down. Did you hear about that guy Duger or something like that? I can check it out, but apparently he talking about everybody wants to molest kids and shit.
Oh yeah. The dude, the child molesting dude. Yeah, man, I heard about that. That's funny. It's funny how they're treating that situation. Everybody's talking about forgiveness and Jesus and all this stuff now. And what's funny about that? They're low key giving that guy, this white dude who he was on 19 Kids and Counting, one of those shows, these reality shows, and it found out that he's a admitted child molester. He molested his sisters, so he's a lifelong perv. So a lot of the sponsors are getting dropped, and the show they taking the reruns off and the whole thing, but they're still trying to give this dude a pass to a certain degree, which is very interesting. And what's funny about that, Bill Cosby, who has not been convicted of anything, who has not admitted to raping anybody, but he has a whole bunch of unsubstantiated accusations about raping people. In Nevada, they passed a law in Nevada because of Bill Cosby, some type of bill that they passed because of Bill Cosby, that they're moving the statutes of limitations to 20 years instead of 4 years in Nevada. They're literally changing the law so that people like Bill Cosby can't get away from allegedly false accusations by those in the dominant society. Because the statutes of limitations are 4 years, they're like, look, next time we need to get a Negro, let's raise the net a little bit longer. So they actually changed the law because of Bill Cosby based on accusations. So that just shows you how we are in a system of white supremacy, and we got to get our chips together and learn how to deal with these laws. All right, but thanks for the call, fam. Now, Bill Cosby again. Bill Cosby has not been convicted of anything. And basically, anybody can file a frivolous lawsuit in order to try to come up. They changed the law for us. They really go out of their way to change the laws for us. So black folks, black men, you got to be real careful about the little snow bunnies you're laying up with. Because you're laying up with somebody now, and I ain't knocking interracial relationships. There's people who love each other. I ain't knocking that. But now, y'all got to understand how they use black folks symbolically for other black people, as black people collectively. So with this whole thing now, they've widened the statutes of limitations for 20 years, which is unthinkable. So now, brothers, you might be 50 years old. You might have smashed somebody when you were in your late 20s, early 30s, or whatever. Especially a white woman. She can come back and say, hey, you know what? I'm old and haggard now, but this nigga, he got some money. He kind of took advantage of me later on. So now they can drag you in and out of court. You got it? Because the name of the game, it ain't about rape and all that. It's about the ability to drag you in and out of court to exhaust your resources. That's what it's really all about. What's up, Ola? Everybody say what's up to Ola. The name of the game is to really drag you in and out of court to exhaust your resources. It's not about justice for rape, none of that shit. It's about exhausting your resources. That's what the white supremacists do. They drag you in and out of court. You got to pay lawyer fees. You got to go for civil suits, and they drag you in and out, and that tears your resources up. And hopefully they say, okay, it's just best to settle. That's the name of the game. Tupac talked about that, how he kept going to court. People kept dragging him in and out of court for stuff. Yeah, they changed the laws on us, just like gun laws. Do y'all know, and there's several people put this article up, and we're going to talk a lot about Chicago tonight. In Chicago, law-abiding black people are being denied gun permits, concealed carry permits, because the law says that if you don't have a felony and you don't have this and you got a clean record, you can get a concealed carry permit in Chicago. Now, what happens is a lot of black folks are starting to try to get their concealed carry permits. Law-abiding black people with no record, no felonies, or anything. The white supremacists, they always have tricks up their sleeve. The white supremacists, they have some type of committee that will review your gun permit application. And this committee in Chicago or the state of Illinois, they can deny you a gun permit and they don't have to explain why. They can deny you a gun permit, this little secret committee, which is the white supremacists. That's what they do. They get these little secret committees, these little grand juries. You see how they work? See, you black folks fall for these whole little tricks that the white supremacists say, well, the law is equal for everybody. If you just work hard and you just do that, you'll get the same equal treatment. Man, they got little secret committees for us. Dude, if you think I'm making some shit up, they got a committee. There's a little secret committee that they say they have to look at your application. They have to look at your application. And this secret committee can deny anybody and they don't have to explain why. That's the thing. We keep trying to, we keep talking about the Constitution and all that. The white supremacists, dude, they can create laws out of thin air. We think that Constitution is supposed to be designed for us. Dude, they come up with little secret committees and grand juries and all these little racialized laws for us. So we got to understand the game that's being played. Just like in Arizona, did y'all see? And I tweeted this on my, I put this on my Instagram when all of these people were talking about going to Arizona this Friday to protest outside of a mosque. They went out to Arizona to protest outside of a mosque because there was a shooting down in Texas. So, you know, they tried to use this shooting to justify going to this mosque in Arizona to have this protest. And these white supremacists went out there. They were armed. They were like, hey, we're going to have this big protest at this mosque. We're going to have a draw Muhammad picture contest because that's very offensive to those in Islam. Drawing pictures and images of Muhammad is a very insulting thing to do. So they went out there. They wanted to stand in front of a mosque and draw pictures of Muhammad and just disrespect Islam and Muslims. And they were hiding it behind some type of religious thing. But the only religion is white supremacy. They brought their guns. They stopped talking in code once they got there. You had people wearing their white supremacist shirts. They had the 2 S's, the white supremacist insignias and symbols. They went into full white supremacist mode. Many of them had on straight up neo-Nazi type gear. And I said on my Instagram, I said, you know, when these people are talking about they're anti-Muslim and all that, Muslim, that's a code word for black people. Now, some people played dumb. A couple of black folks who played dumb. Muslims are light skinned. No. Don't get dumb now. That's the thing. The white supremacists, they know how to talk in code, and all of them know how to get on the same code. Black people are the only ones sitting around, fumbling around, bumbling around, not getting the code. Black people stay bumbling around, not even getting what the code words are. I'm telling you, the white supremacists use the word Muslim as a code word for black. Black folks, that's something that you have to understand. Muslim is a code word for black. Whenever white supremacists talk about history, the Christians and Muslims, they're talking about Christians and Moors. That goes back to the Inquisition in Spain, them battling the Muslims, which were the Moors. That goes way back then. Muslim, no. Muslim means Arab. No. It's a code word. Y'all don't understand code words. Y'all don't understand code words. The white supremacists, they use code words. It's a code word for people of color, mainly black people. Y'all remember that's why they were calling Barack Obama a Muslim. Y'all remember that when Barack Obama was running for president, they kept calling him a Muslim. Even to this day, they call him a Muslim. They were portraying him with a turban and the whole thing. And then they went from Muslim to terrorist. You notice, see, they make all these terms interchangeable. They make these terms interchangeable. If they call you a Muslim, if you black, he must be, especially if you're talking about challenging white supremacy, they make you a Muslim. And if you're a Muslim, or you got an African name or whatever, you must be a Muslim. And if you're a Muslim, you're a terrorist. Black folks, y'all better learn these damn code words. They make these words interchangeable for a reason. Why do you think they have Assata Shakur on the terrorist list? Assata Shakur, who's not a Muslim from what I understand, but why is she on a terrorist list? You understand? Muslim is a code word. When I was looking at some of these white supremacists talking about going to that rally in Arizona, I was looking at their pages, their Facebook pages. They're like, yeah, we need to go get those Muslims. Yeah, but when you look at their pages, all of their posts were like anti-Obama, anti-Al Sharpton, thug this, thug that. So they didn't really give a shit about no real Islamic Muslims. Their whole thing was black folks. You got to understand the code word. Just like, you know what? Remember my wife last night, we watched the movie on demand. We watched that American Sniper movie about that Chris Kyle guy, that racist ass Chris Kyle, who they tried to make a big ass hero out of, who was a straight up little white supremacist. So the whole movie, he's over in, I guess, Afghanistan, somewhere in the Middle East, killing Muslims, killing Muslim children. And this Chris Kyle guy, he told of an incident where he and some other person went to New Orleans during Katrina, and he was shooting looters. Now, a lot of people who are supporters of him, they try to make it seem like he just kind of made the story up. Why would you make some shit up like that? I think he probably did it because there were little white supremacists down there killing black folks. All they had to do was call them looters. So this dude went from killing Muslims to claiming that he killed looters. You understand? So blacks and Muslims are interchangeable. Blacks and Muslims, that's a term that's interchangeable. They have a lot of code words that they use for us, and black folks don't get it. Yeah, looters, that was another code word. That was another code word. Looters, that was a code word for black people because that criminalizes you. Understand, the white supremacists, one of their code of the white supremacists is that they have to criminalize black people. That's why whenever a black person gets shot, oh, he shouldn't have been running. He shouldn't have robbed that store, which Mike Brown didn't rob a store, by the way. He shouldn't have beat up George Zimmerman. He shouldn't have been out there pointing that toy gun at people. See, they have to criminalize you. So if you're a black person, you just got caught up in a hurricane and you're trying to find somewhere to go, instead of being a survivor or a victim of a hurricane, oh, that Negro's a looter. Oh, yeah. That's why when y'all look at images of Hurricane Katrina, y'all remember Sean Penn, the fake white liberal Sean Penn? I don't give a fuck about Sean Penn, by the way. That whole fake white liberal Sean Penn. Y'all remember, Google some images of Sean Penn during Hurricane Katrina. Why was Sean Penn, people out there needed help, they needed food, they needed resources. Why was Sean Penn out there on a boat with a gun? Sean Penn's punk ass was out there in New Orleans in a boat with a gun. You dig? So there was a whole bunch of these white supremacists out there taking advantage of the situation. There was a lot of black folks who got killed out there in New Orleans during Katrina. We talked on that a little bit in Hidden Colors 3. So we got to understand the code words and the game that's being played. Just like with our boy Eric Sheppard. With our brother Eric Sheppard. They're calling him a terrorist. Some people are even labeling him a Muslim. They were labeling Eric Sheppard a Muslim and a terrorist. Y'all know that? They were labeling that brother a Muslim and a terrorist. Yeah, a lot of body. We black folks, we don't understand code. That's why brothers like Neely Fuller, we talk about the importance of having codes. Because the white supremacists, they go into code mode every time they get around us. They go into code mode every single time. They immediately go into code mode, and they start talking in code, and they immediately pick up on the code. Muslim, then terrorist. Yeah, let's talk about Eric Sheppard, by the way, too. Let's talk about our brother Eric Sheppard. Y'all know who Eric Sheppard is, right? Eric Sheppard was the young man down in Valdosta, I think Valdosta State University. I think that's the college. He was down there. They were having a protest. And we're going to get deep right now. They were down there having a protest. And I think he was stepping on the flag because they were protesting a lot of police brutality. They were protesting what was going on with Kendrick Johnson. And a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, and on Twitter, they had what's called the Eric Sheppard Challenge, where people all around the country were walking on flags and all that. We're going to get deep. I want y'all to feel me. If you don't know who Eric Sheppard is, Google him. There's a young man, he's 21 years old. He was on the run. Very articulate young man. Very articulate young man. And what happened was it made a lot of press. It started getting international press that, they had this protest down in Valdosta, and he walked on the flag, and, he was defending himself. And what happened is that the police, they like, hey, we found a gun in Eric Sheppard's book bag, and now we're going to have to arrest him. So he went on the run. So they had this big manhunt for Eric Sheppard. They were looking for him, and they eventually found him in Florida a few days ago. He was on the run for about a month. All right? Now, I've been in contact, the family, Eric Sheppard's family, they were in contact with me. I was corresponding with his family, with his mother, very wonderful sister. Wonderful sister. I was corresponding with his mother. The family reached out to me. And Eric Sheppard, when they were having that protest down there, they were raising money to have a Hidden Colors screening down there. When Eric Sheppard was on the run, do you know Eric Sheppard called me? Eric Sheppard called me a few weeks ago. I was corresponding with his mother. There was a deal on the table. There was a deal on the table with Eric Sheppard's lawyers. And this is the first time anybody's hearing this. I don't talk about a lot of this shit, but now that they got him, you know, I'm talking about it now. Feel me on this. I want y'all to feel me. I know, Harlem. I know. Now, listen, feel me. Yeah, Angel, feel me. His mother and his lawyers, there was a deal made where Eric will turn himself in. Eric was going to turn himself in. I put up the bail money for Eric a month ago. We knew what the charges were going to be. They already had the charges laid out. They already said what the charges was going to be. I put the bail money up. All Eric had to do about a month ago was to basically go in. They were going to give him some little bullshit charges. He had to go in, get booked, and he was just going to walk right back out. He was going to turn himself in with the lawyer, go in, get booked, and walk right back out. Got it? This was about a month ago. Now, and again, I already sent the money for the bail and everything. So everything is straight. Now, Eric didn't want to do it. He was like, well, you know, I don't want to turn myself in. And yeah, I don't want to turn myself in. I don't want to take these charges. I don't want to take these charges. Now, he called me because he called to thank me for putting up the bail money. Now, when he called me, I didn't know where he was. Now, if law enforcement is looking at this, and when he called me, I had no idea where he was, didn't really want to know. I told him to turn himself in. When he called me, I said, brother, you need to take this deal. I don't know where you are. Don't want to know where the fuck you are. Just turn yourself in. So, because if they get you, they're going to throw all types of charges at you, my dude. Hey, if they listening, hell, they can listen. If the feds are listening, I'm just telling you what I told him. I told him to turn himself in. I told him to turn himself in. Because we got a deal on the table for you. You good. Just go in there, get booked. You're going to walk back out. No, man, I ain't trying to get in the white man's jet. I ain't trying to do that, man. They're going to have to drop all these charges. They're going to have to drop all these charges because I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm like, man, my man don't understand this game, man. My man don't understand white supremacy. So I was trying to tell him, my brother, you need to go ahead and turn yourself in, But he was like, yeah, hey, man, I'll take my chances out here. Yada, yada, yada. I said, okay, all right. So that was that. I didn't stay on the phone with the brother too long. But I did tell him to turn himself in and take the deal that was on the table. There's a deal on the table. Take the deal on the table. You're going to be safe because these white supremacists, man, they'll use any excuse to come shoot you. And I told him, I said, brother, some of the people you're with, some of these people might snitch on you, brother, man. It's not a good look. Now, he was like, no, I'm going to just take my chances out here. Woo, woo, woo. He was scared, and I get that. He's trying to, keep up a game face. And I'm like, okay. Bad look, though. So, I'm assuming, he gets a lot of bad advice from his friends. You got a lot of people online kind of egging you on. And I knew they were going to get him. My thing is, I didn't know he was in Florida. The way he was talking, he was like, yeah, I'm going to just take my chances. I ain't turning myself in, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm thinking, well, shit. He must be out of the country or something. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's out the country. I had no idea he was in Florida. He's all right from what I understand. The lawyer went down and talked. I talked to his mother yesterday. The lawyer went down to the lawyer in Georgia went down to Florida to check on him, so he's good. They're trying to bring him back to Valdosta, but I thought my man, the way he was talking, I'm thinking he's out the country. I didn't know he was in Florida. I'm like, if I had known he was in Florida, I would have been, like, man, if you don't get your ass in and turn yourself in, they're going to really get you in Florida. They're going to really get you in Florida. But what happened with Eric, man, he's a young dude, very book smart, very articulate brother. But my man, he's not that street smart, though, because he don't understand people running their fucking mouths, talking shit, egging you on. My man has a lot of people, especially a lot of these fake Hotep niggas, egging him on. Man, you the revolutionary, you the best, you this, you that. And, man, you can't listen. And let me talk to my young folks, man. Don't listen to some of these motherfuckers on the internet, dude. Don't listen to these people, man. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times, they ain't gonna really have your back. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They'll egg you on to do shit and act like they're gonna have your back and all that old shit. They'll egg you on and leave you out there hanging. They'll egg you on and leave you out there hanging. You dig? So my man was doing, he was doing some reckless stuff. Then before they arrested him, he was getting a little too comfortable. Now, Coco Doe. Really, Coco Doe? Listen, look, read what Coco Doe sent to me. Look what this nigga, and this is the problem with a lot of us when we start talking about some shit. Niggas come with the dumbness. He said, Flex, I thought you were against cooperating with law enforcement. Dumb talk like that is the problem with a lot of these young people. You listen to other young folks, or not even young folks, just dumb folks, talk that dumb shit. Dude, if you are on the run, that ain't cooperating with law enforcement, nigga. That's saving your ass. My man don't understand, and he didn't understand the consequences of white supremacy. They're going to try to trump up, because we don't. Right now, they got my man on a no bail hold. Right now, for my man Eric Sheppard, they ain't got no bail for him. Right now, he's on a no bail hold right now. No bail. You dig? So you got to play chess. You got to be tactful with this thing. You got to be tactful with this thing. Did I roast Coco Doe before? I think I roasted Coco Doe before. But you got to be tactful. Look, we under a system of white supremacy. You're in the belly of the beast. And if you have a bunch of white supremacists after you and the Klan and all this is putting up bounties on you and all this old stuff, number one, man, you got to be tactful. You got to lay low. Or you can't be in the States running your mouth and all this stuff. And my man put out a manifesto that he sent to the press, which is what he really should not have done. He really should not have done that. He put out this manifesto kind of going in on white society and all that stuff. And dude, when you're a fugitive and they're looking for stuff to get at you at, and you're not really protected and you're in hiding, you don't do that, brother. You don't do that. That's not a good look. And again, his mother's wonderful. She's like, hey, he's kind of hard-headed, But again, he's scared. He's scared. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the consequences, and he's not really a street dude. So he don't really know how these laws work and how the white supremacists work and how they get down. He don't really understand that. My man has never been in legal trouble before. You understand? He hasn't been in no legal trouble before. He's never dealt with the law like that. Now, people, the hustlers, they'll They'll trump up shit on you at the drop of a hat, dude. And, you know, I was talking to some of his people recently after he got arrested because all of his people started hitting me up trying to get more advice now that he has been arrested. And I was telling his folks, hey, man, this is the deal. Look, man, they about to do this. And look, you know, I'm just kind of letting them know how serious shit is. And one of his partners was like, you know, well, they can't do this, and legally they can't do that because, man, we are melanoid people in a system of white supremacy. They will create laws to do shit to us. Dude. So we got to understand the game and learn the game and not get egged on by a lot of people online. We got to stop being egged on by people online. And when somebody's giving you some advice, man, some real shit, when they got you set up straight, take that, man. Take the advice. We'll know the charges tomorrow. We'll know the official charges. I know already they're going to try to pile on some other shit. I already know. But my man, there was a cool deal already in place. Man, take what's behind door number one. I don't know what my man thought was going to happen, what the outcome was going to be. I really don't understand what my man thought the outcome was going to be. But hopefully they don't make an example out of that brother, man. Hopefully they don't make an example out of him. I know he was down in a jail in Florida, one jail in Tampa. I think they moved him, took him out of population and put him in another jail somewhere else. So, you know, hopefully my man is safe. Hopefully my brother is safe. But again, I did tell the brother to turn himself in, to take the deal that the lawyer had. His bail was taken care of. All he had to do was go in there and get booked and walk out. Take the deal. It was a good deal. But he was like, I don't want no charges because I didn't do this. They need to drop all these charges. And brother, I'm my man. And he wrote this manifesto making demands like, I demand y'all stop trying to get me. And dude, you can't sell whoop tickets like that, dude. You can't sell whoop tickets like that, man. Because you ain't got no bargaining chips, and they know you don't have no bargaining chips. They know you don't have no bargaining chips, bruh. You dig? So yeah, you don't put yourself out there like that. Trying to sell wolf tickets and you ain't really got no bargaining chips. You ain't really got no backup like that. See, they end up making an example out of you. Especially you out there by yourself, really, and listening to a bunch of fake-ass people online. People online, they sound real rah-rah. People online are full of shit. They'll let you get your ass slaughtered out here. I understand he's a young dude. I understand. What's up, Lady More Natural? I understand he's a young dude. I understand that. Yeah, man, you got a lot of these fake hotep people on the internet gassing folks up, man. Well, you say, well, go down. Well, he will go down standing at least. What's to say they would have honored the deal? The likelihood of them honoring the deal, it's about chess and it's about weighing your odds, sir. The likelihood of them honoring a deal that was brokered by a lawyer is more pertinent than you just running around being on the run and letting them catch you on their own and now no deal and they can throw whatever charge they want at you now and now you ain't got no bail. and hopefully you leave out of jail in one piece. That's the thing, man. We got too many fake Hotep dudes gassing the young generation up. That's why I try to let folks know, don't listen to some of these fake niggas on the internet, man. Right now, you ain't got no bail. My brother ain't got no bail right now. So hopefully, they're not going to try to make an example out of the brother, man. Hopefully, they don't try to make a complete example out of him. Let's see who this is. What's up? Who's calling?
Hello.
Man, who is this?
What's up, dude? Just clarifying something. You had a think tank recently.
Yes,
that was like $100 to join.
Yeah.
Just one quick question. What exactly was the think tank about?
Well,
or like... Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a lot of ideas that we talked about, a lot of good dialogue that we had, and really, if you didn't be a part of the think tank, we really shouldn't discuss it with you right now because you weren't a part of it. So it was a part of like-minded brothers talking about certain issues that we could do and things that we can build on and things that we can produce. And we just talked about a lot of good ideas. I'll just put it that way. I don't want to discuss things outside of the think tank because you are not part of the think tank. If you want to get a part of the think tank, get your $100 and put it down next time we do it. You feel me?
I can understand that.
There you go. Thanks for the call. That's all I want to say. I ain't about to go in and out. People on the outside want to know what's going on inside. Me and the brothers in the think tank, we had a great conversation. When we had the think tank last week, man, that was one of the best dialogues I've had with brothers because everybody was dead ass serious. Brothers were coming with some great ideas about stuff, man. We were talking about starting super PACs for fundraising. It was just some of the things. Great dialogue we had, man. Great dialogue, great like-minded brothers. We were talking about some real shit. All right, let's see what else we got. What's up? Who's calling?
Yo, Tariq, what's going on? From Toronto.
Hey, you're in Toronto.
Yeah,
what's going on with that raggedy phone, brother?
Pardon?
That phone is, okay, brother, you got to call back. I can't deal with this raggedy-ass phone, brother. Take that raggedy phone right back to Canada, nigga. Give that shit to Drake or Justin Bieber or somebody. I'm not dealing with raggedy phones tonight. That phone is horrible. All right. I'm going to try one more call. Hopefully this motherfucker's phone ain't raggedy. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Jay calling from Oakland.
Jay from Oakland. What's up in the town, man?
Oh, man, it's changing, with the gentrification and everything. A lot of outsiders moving in, starting businesses. And, when I say outsiders, I mean, mainly white people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So what's on your mind, man?
I just wanted to make a comment, man. I'm like a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Yeah.
And, I fuck with you. A lot of the stuff that you're putting out there, I definitely agree with. And, I try to spread. But, I want to take issue with something that I, hear you say a lot of times on your show.
Go ahead, bro.
I hear you say a lot of times that, like the older generations have, failed the youth and stuff.
Right.
It hasn't, given them, anything to basically move forward with, as far as progression, building businesses and economics and that type of thing.
Right.
But, I feel like, when you look at some of the examples like, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, although, Martin Luther King had kind of like a different ideology, they were still, united. You look at different examples like, Black Wall Street, that type of thing. And I know there was a lot of, successful, Black economies and businesses outside of Black Wall Street. That's only the one that we know about. That's like the best examples. So, I feel like, there's definitely, that collection of older people who, does have like the quote unquote cool mentality.
But wait. Let me pause for a minute, brother. Now you got to understand the people who were around during Black Wall Street. Those people are not around now, brother. That was almost 100 years ago. Those people are not around no more. So you're talking about a totally generation. That's a generation removed. That generation was really about passing something down. That generation was, but what we particularly talk about is the civil rights generation. That generation that came of age, the so-called black baby boomers that came of age in the 1960s and 70s, and we're really the offspring of that generation. We're the direct offspring of that generation, and that generation kind of threw us to the wolves to a certain degree. Now, when you mention Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, you got to understand this, and this is something that a lot of the civil rights generation people, they don't like to admit. They, for the most part, didn't give a fuck about Dr. King or Malcolm X. They were terrified shitless of Malcolm X. That's why Malcolm X, when he got killed, the killers of Malcolm X, do you know they're still walking around now?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the people who killed Malcolm X, some of those people are still walking around right now. The agent who was the bodyguard who worked for the feds, who helped set Malcolm up, Eugene Roberts, his ass is still walking around now. You dig? Untouched, nothing. The generation then, you got to understand, they didn't really ride with Dr. King like that. They rolled with him after the fact. See, these niggas, once the white supremacists say Malcolm is cool now, then they all get on the Malcolm X bandwagon. Then they'll, okay, let's name a street after Malcolm X. Even Dr. King. Black folks, a lot of black folks then didn't want Dr. King coming to the city because they thought Dr. King was a troublemaker. You understand? I played video right here on my show of Malcolm X doing an interview. Y'all remember that clip I played, all the listeners? He's doing an interview with a white person on the street, a white reporter. And the white reporter turned to a black dude who was a coon, and the black dude hopped on the 1962 coon train. He was like, well, a lot of us black folks, we just feel sorry for ourselves. So niggas were cooning then in the 60s, dude. Don't let nobody trip you up and make you think that everybody was out there marching, dude. You had a bunch of fucking coons in the 60s who said, fuck my kids, fuck that new generation. I got a job at the GM plant. I got a job at the damn rubber plant. I got a job.
No, and I feel you though, and I feel you though. But let me make one more comment. Like, you know, even when you talk about like the baby boomers, you know, like the 60s and the 70s, because you know, my dad, he was actually you know, one of the members of the second chapter of the Black Panther Party, you know, in San Francisco, in the Fillmore district.
Right.
You know, so you know, I kind of come from a different angle with it. You know what I mean? He definitely told me, you know, back then there was a lot of people who didn't ride with him. But at the same time, you know, we do have, you know, that sort of blueprint to look back. You know, again, not 100% of people, you know, but like you said, like the, you know, the Black Wall Street, you know, the Black liberals. I know that there was a lot of other organizations like Weather Underground, and the list just goes on and on. You know, I agree with you that, you know, there's a lot of people who wasn't riding with them, but at the same time, brother, I do feel like we got
I'm all about the proof. Showing the proof is in the pudding, brother. What have they passed down? I'm talking specifically about the civil rights generation. Either they passed something down or they didn't. What did they pass down, brother?
You asking me, what did the Black Panthers pass down?
No. I'm talking about the whole generation, not just one group. I'm talking about the whole generation of black society to this generation. What have they passed down to this generation of black people? What do we have that they passed down?
Okay, well, when you say black society, I feel that you have to include like the Black Panthers, the people who followed MLK, the Nation of Islam, the people who followed Malcolm X, and even if you want to go to like the black extreme groups, like, you know, like the Black Guerrilla Family, you know, when they were first founded, you know, by George Jackson, you know, they had a different ideology.
What businesses are left by the Black Panthers then? What businesses did the Black Panthers pass down?
To tell you the truth, man, the only thing that I can think of is in here down in downtown Oakland, they have a bakery that was actually the original, you know, birthplace building, you know, where the Black Panthers was first founded, and is still owned by an original Black Panther member today. Now, I know as a whole, that's not really doing that.
A bakery, brother? You know, a bakery. One bakery. All right?
But that's a good blueprint. I mean, even though it's a small business, that's a blueprint. That's a self-sufficient business. And every time I go in there, it's a lot of black people in there supporting that. So, you know, you know,
a bakery, brother.
That, I mean, that's a blueprint.
A bakery.
But is it not a business? Is what I'm asking.
It's a business, but one bakery, brother. That's it.
But we got to start somewhere. I mean, I hear you on your show talk a lot of times about, you know, how you got more respect for the brother.
So that means nothing. So if the only thing you can point to is a one bakery, then we have nothing then, right? Just say that we have nothing, brother. We have nothing.
But if I'm trying to start a business and someone comes to me and they says, I own a bakery, I mean, is that not a good blueprint? It has to start somewhere.
No, that's not a good blueprint. One bakery is not a good blueprint, family. That's that special ed thinking. Well, we got to start somewhere. We get an A for trying. We'll give you a star on your forehead for trying. We can't compete with what we gonna do with one bakery, man? What we gonna do with one bakery, brother?
But I've heard you say in the past how you respect the brother that's self-sufficient. Let's say he's got his own point of business.
But when you talk about what somebody passed down and that's just a bakery, that ain't enough. One bakery ain't enough. It's 40 million black folks and you talking about one bakery.
But I agree with you when you said that. I agree with you when you said that. I said
you got people out here building banks, passing banks down from different ethnic groups, passing down all types of conglomerates, passing down multi-international companies. We're passing down donuts and pastries. We can't compete like that, brother. If that's what you can hang your hat on is a bakery, we can't compete with a bakery, brother. If that's all you can hang your hat on.
But I said in the beginning that wasn't enough. But I feel that it's a good blueprint.
It's not a good blueprint. You keep saying it's a good blueprint. It's not a good blueprint because if that's what you're talking about, one bakery, that's cool, but that ain't shit. That ain't enough.
What if they take that bakery and, for example...
Okay, don't do the what if. Now here we go. You about to do the what if. We black folks stay on that what if shit. Everybody else is doing, and we're talking about what if. What we need to do is get that bakery and then put a tax refund place in the front and then put a cat litter company in the side, and then we can have a little mini mall. And then I can do the commercial. It's that old Renum Spoons bullshit, brother. You back to Renum Spoons.
Man, it's not BS, man. It's not BS.
Brother, that low-level Renum Spoons mentality ain't cutting it no more, bro. The youth, they're not feeling it. You're talking about Renum Spoons. It's something. You're talking about Renum Spoons, brother. We have to look at the older generation. If the only thing they left us is one bakery, we can't listen to them as a blueprint. We got to create a new blueprint. And the new blueprint says total melanoid empowerment. We're going to have to build for real, not just blueprints. If that's all you can point to is a goddamn bakery, that ain't enough. We need a new blueprint, family. That ain't a good blueprint. You feel me?
I mean, I feel you, man, but I mean, I can give you another example. Okay, if you say that was a bad example, I can give you another one here, specifically in the San Francisco Bay Area of a black-owned business that's been owned, and it was started by someone who, was actually a revolutionary back in the 60s, and it's actually a chain restaurant right now. There's about 6 or 7 locations here in the Bay Area. So,
what's the name of the restaurant?
It's Everett Jones. If you ever been, or anybody that ever been up in the Bay Area, they know this chain. There's locations all over the Bay Area, and it started just from one hole in a wall spot, similar to what the bakery is right now. And now it's expanded.
What's the name of the restaurant? What's the name of it? What's the name of it?
It's called Everett Jones Barbecue.
Evelyn?
Everett.
Everett Jones Barbecue?
You looking it up right now?
Yeah, Everett Jones Barbecue locations. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, now Everett Jones, he was a revolutionary from the 1960s?
Well, so it's a large black family, and certain members of the founding members of it, was pretty heavy in the civil rights movement back out here in the Bay Area.
Okay, but yeah, I don't think Everett was a civil rights guy.
I don't believe he was, but I know some people like the founding members in his family was. But the point I'm trying to make is that and they employ tons of black people. I mean, I think they employ all black people because every time I go in one of their restaurants, whether it's in downtown Oakland or in Berkeley or in Richmond, it's just 100% black. So I'm just using.
We can point to certain black places. I mean, hell, there's a few black businesses in L.A. You got Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I can point to black businesses here and there. A barbecue joint there, a barbershop here, a tire shop. I can point to a couple of places, brother.
But we got to stick to what we know. I mean, black hair care, black food, music. I mean, we have to stick to what we know. I mean,
I'm not knocking black business, but brother, acting like that's some type of blueprint, talking about they passed down something and you can only point to one or two barbecue spots here and 1 or 2 barbecue spots there to try to negate the point. This is proving my point. If that's all you can point to, that just proves that generation didn't really pass down shit to us. These little barbecue joints, they're not really employing a whole lot of people because they're mom and pop operations. They've been mom and pop operations for 50 years. So those are not good examples you're using, bro.
The Everett Jones restaurant franchise is no longer a mom and pop operation. I mean, they have 6 or 7 locations and they've been around for years. How is that still mom and pop?
It's a mom and pop situation because it's a local business, and I'm not saying it's a bad business. I take my hat off to Everett Jones, but that's not enough. It's not really moving the scale. You're not really putting yourself in a position because you're just one person in a sea of a lot of other businesses that's taking over. I can point to a brother in Chicago who has a business. There's a guy who was corresponding with me in Chicago who had a very nice restaurant out there. But again, pointing to 1 or 2 black folks who still have their businesses, we need more. We need a new blueprint, so more of us will have that. You understand?
Okay, so the owners of that restaurant, their kids, I'm just going to assume that naturally their kids are going to grow up seeing that, you know, their mothers and fathers running this business. They're going to have that mentality ingrained from them at a young age. So
which is a good thing. But that's one family. That's only one family, bruh. What about the rest of the people out here? We need a collective mindset like that. Of course, a few people will have a certain mindset, but that's the problem. Too few people have that business mindset. I didn't say that it didn't exist. Too few people have it, brother. So you're trying to hang your hat on, well, just a few of us have it. That's good enough. That's not good enough, and you don't get an A for effort. More of us need to think like the Everett family and the brother who owns the bakery and the brother who owns Roscoe's. More of us should think like that, brother. Do you agree or disagree?
And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. Of course,
no, you're not. You're not really agreeing. You say you disagree. I asked you what did we get passed down to us? You pointed to 2 places. That ain't enough. And you said it was a blueprint.
Was that I know that they are not large conglomerates.
So what's the point of bringing it? What's the point of bringing it up, though?
Because I'm saying it's a good blueprint to start. Like, even though it's very small. Look, you did a show a few months ago, and the title of it was.
It's not a good blueprint to stop. It's not a good blueprint to start. If you've been around for 40 years and you're the only business that's there, that's not more people need to have businesses, brother. That's the thing.
That's right, and that's a good blueprint to start a business from the ground up. Like, I just don't understand how you can't understand how that's a good blueprint. I mean,
you keep saying it's a good blueprint. You keep saying it's a good blueprint. How come other people aren't doing it? That's the point. Why are other people not doing it? Why are only 2 people doing it in your city?
Listen, man. Obviously, I mean, Oakland is
brother. Why are only 2 people doing it in Oakland? Why are only 2 people doing it then, brother?
But not only 2 people are doing that. I think it's a fair assumption to make, although I don't know every
Who are the other ones?
in Oakland.
Who are the other black business owners out there in Oakland?
Okay, and I know you're going to laugh when I say this, but...
Don't say a barbershop, brother. Don't say that.
That's what I was going to say.
I know you were going to say it. I know you were going to say it. I know you were going to say the barbershop, brother.
Where I get... Okay, check this out. Where I get my hair cut now from, you know, there's a brother who owns the shop. You know what I mean? He runs the shop. And it's like a legitimate business.
And that's good. I applaud brothers who own barbershops.
But he runs it in a professional way. You know, the typical barbershop. You know, the typical barbershop you go, you know, motherfuckers is, you know, smoking weed while they cut your hair, and it's run in a very unprofessional way. He runs a barbershop chain. He has 2 or 3 out here in the Bay Area. I know you're going to laugh at that, but, I mean, it's still its own business. Dude, I mean, it kind of gets a...
We got other groups out here, other ethnic groups, who are making moves politically because they have a number of businesses, they have a number of industries, and they use their money together to buy off politicians, to enforce certain laws, to mark off their communities. The thing is, you're naming off a few places that's scattered and not aggregated, and thereby they're powerless. You understand how powerless these little businesses you're naming are because they're not aggregated and they're scattered all over the place. So you have that neighborhood, Jewish owned, Arab owned, but then there's a black barbershop that they're renting the building from an Arab or a Jewish person or a white person, or they're renting the the stuff from the white people. So it's not aggregated. There's not a whole community of people with businesses making moves. You understand? That's what we need.
I understand that, and that's where I feel like we need to try to get to, but again, I feel like we have had some good examples of that, in the past. But like I said, man, I mean, it has to start somewhere. I think the Everett Jones restaurant franchise is a damn good example.
And I'm not knocking, I don't know who Everett Jones is. I'm not knocking the brother. That's cool. My man has his restaurant. It's good to be influenced by that. But don't sit up and say, well, what I'm saying about the civil rights generation is wrong because there's one barbecue joint. That kind of proves my point, brother. If all we got is a barbecue joint, that proves my point, bro. You feel me?
That's not all we got, man. But you keep,
basically a couple of barbershops, a barbecue joint, and a bakery. They didn't pass shit down, brother. You didn't really disprove the fact that they haven't passed shit down. But we're going to get it one bakery at a time, brother. We're going to get a bakery, and we're going to rent them spoons, and we're going to fight the power. All right, brother? All right, thanks for the call.
All right, bro.
That rent them spoon shit. There we go with the rent them spoons. What's up? Who's calling?
What's up, Tariq? It's Alante from Inglewood.
What's up, Alante? How you doing, fam?
I was doing pretty good. It's been a while, man. I contributed to Hidden Color Sports, so I see the production of going on that.
Much respect,
so
man.
Looking pretty good.
Thank you so much, man. What's on your mind, Alonzo?
In terms of the passing down, they passed down nothing tangible.
They didn't, man. My man. But but we got some good fucking barbecue. No, we got some ribs, some potato salad. All right.
Yeah, but we have to redevelop that Black Wall Street mentality where we do business with each other in our own community and build up each other. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that brother from Oakland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Much love. But they passed down nothing tangible. It has to be community-based.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, bakery here and there. And I'm not knocking the bakery. Hell, I applaud that. But sitting around making it seem like we're going to compete out here with just bakeries and barbecue, no. We should be doing better than that. All right, but thank you for the call, brother. Yes, all indeed. Right. Man. My man said, nope. We got a bakery and some barbecue. But we gotta aggregate things, aggregate our money so that we can't sit around bragging about rent 'em spoons type of businesses that's out here. And, I go out of my way to support black businesses, though. When I go to Chicago, I make a point to go to a black restaurant, a black-owned restaurant. I go out of my way to support them. I trust me. When I go places, I go out of my way to support black businesses. Sitting up here talking about black barbershops and that ain't enough, fam. That ain't enough. We got to be able to compete, man. You say Stephen Smith breaks his foot off in the white supremacy's ass. I don't believe that. And this is a bait video, some shit you about to show. That's a bait and switch video you about to show. I doubt that. I doubt that. Hold on. I'll watch this video later. I doubt Stephen A. Smith goes in on white supremacy. But yeah, like I said, I try to go out of my way to support black businesses. There was what's that singer? I think the gospel dude Marvin Sapp. Is that his name? That his name? One of those. Hold on, let me look at my Facebook page real quickly. Let me look at my Facebook real quickly, fam. In Chicago, after church. Hold on, let me see. Let me find something. Hold on. We're in the room heavy. Don't forget, I'm going to be in Atlanta on July 11th. I'm going to be in Philly July 5th. That's Sunday. That's coming up next month. And I'm going to be in Detroit July 18th doing lectures. Get your tickets at TariqLive.com. The tickets for Atlanta are going to go on sale next week, but get your tickets for Philly and Detroit right now on TariqLive.com. Okay, let me find Marvin Sapp. That's his name. So Marvin Sapp, Reverend gospel singer, they were at Gospel Fest out there. After Gospel Fest, they went to a restaurant called Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Chicago. It's on 431 North Dearborn Street. They went in there after church. It must have been a number of them. And they pulled the old white supremacist trick on them. Remember this. A lot of times, black people are fooled by white supremacy when it's just you. When it's just you or just one or two other black people, a lot of times the white supremacists can be overly nice to you. You dig? Okay, I don't know what that means. But a lot of white people or white supremacists, they can be very nice to black people when it's a very small number of black folks. When it's a handful of black people, a lot of black folks are treated very nice. You dig? And black people get fooled by that. Black people are fooled by that. The problem is you'll get to see how the white supremacists really think when it's a large number of black people. Their whole thing will change up when it's a large number of black people. Then they go into code mode, immediately go into their code mode. Just like Claude Anderson say, when it's like 6 or more black people, then they go into alert. So Marvin Sapp went in there with some people from the church event. They went to this steakhouse to eat. Yeah, I banned that last snowman, dude. I banned him. But they went into Ruth's Steakhouse in Chicago, and the white supremacists went into code mode. They told them the whole dress code lie. Well, you can't get in because of your dress code. But they pointed out, okay, there's people over there with ripped jeans. There's a person there with a t-shirt. There's a person there with a this and that. And they still turned them away. So my man Marvin Sapp, he was complaining on Facebook and all that. But again, once you're in a system of white supremacy, you have to expect that. You have to expect that. Ola, we were out there in North Carolina. They pulled the same thing on us in North Carolina. They pulled that on us at a mall. And they did that to Claudia Jordan and Genuine out in, I think, Mobile, Alabama somewhere. Mobile or Montgomery. They went into a mall and they said, well, you can't wear glasses in the mall, so you got to leave. Because I guess they thought it was too many Negroes. So the white supremacists, they use these little code words and they use dress codes and all that stuff as a way to Jim Crow you out of certain situations. They just didn't want to have too many of those black folks in that restaurant making the white customers uncomfortable. Chicago is a very racist-ass city. Chicago is a very racist-ass city. There's a brother who emailed me. He has a restaurant out there, and they keep shutting him down because his restaurant is black-owned. It's in a very nice spot. And the other white businesses, they sit up and complain that there's too much noise. But I've been to Chicago so many times. Man, you go by some of them white-owned bars and restaurants, the people are laughing, yelling, screaming, drunk, fighting, music blasting. Nobody says nothing. He said Marvin should have thought about finding an Everett's barbecue. Man. Yeah, but again, we live in Jim Crow 2.0, man. We got to understand that we are in Jim Crow 2.0. And check this out. I'm going to play this video. And go to melanoidnation.org. If you haven't donated to melanoidnation.org, donate to melanoidnation.org. We bring the heat. We do a lot of good things at Melanoid Nation. melanoidnation.org. We do a lot of good stuff for the community in Melanoid Nation. You dig? We do a lot of good stuff with Melanoid Nation. Ola, hold on, cause we got a troll in here. Ola, where you at, Because I don't want to keep having to stop for a coon. It's probably that Muppet Mouth coon with no teeth. It's probably that little loser. Ola, where you at, man? Let me mod you real quickly, Ola. Okay, Ola, let me mod you real quick, Ola, so I don't have to keep stopping what I'm saying. All right, there you go, Ola. I made you the mod, so let that coon have it when he comes back in here. But yeah, we put a lot of good stories up on melanoidnation.org. Shout out to my man B. Clark. But we've been talking a lot about Chicago. You notice, family, every holiday weekend, they always have these reports about Chicago. 56 people got shot in Chicago over the weekend. 80 people got shot in Chicago over Memorial Day weekend. And watch, y'all be very careful around 4th of July weekend. They'll have a whole bunch of stories about so many people got shot over the weekend. And they use these stories to justify disenfranchising and gentrifying these neighborhoods, locking black people up unjustly. Chicago is the talking point for the white supremacists. Got it? They love to point to Chicago as their talking point about what about black on black crime? How come y'all blacks don't do nothing about Chicago? You got to understand that. The white supremacists, they keep the crimes going up in Chicago. And we talked about something on melanoidnation.org. A lot of these murders in Chicago, many of these murders are not committed by gang members. We did a whole story on melanoidnation.org. We suspect, and many people for years in Chicago, they suspect that law enforcement is really behind a lot of the killings out there in Chicago. You got to look, Chicago police, they have been corrupt for years. Don't believe everything the white supremacists tell you. If they keep telling you you're violent, look at you people in Chicago. Look how violent you are. Look, dude, the white supremacists are good at doing shit and blaming you for it. The white supremacists are good at doing stuff and blaming people for it. Chicago, man, a lot of those murders out there, people have said for years, and there was a councilwoman out there, congresswoman, and we talked about this on melanoidnation.org, who she said it too. She's like, hey, word on the street is that some of these murders are not done by a so-called gang member. There's police behind some of these damn murders. And she was repudiated. They got on her ass and they kind of silenced her for saying that. But for years, people have suspected that many of those murders out there in Chicago, a lot of times, law enforcement, you got undercover cops who's behind that shit. That's been the word for years out there. There's a lot of dirty, corrupt cops out there. Now check this out. There's a video that came out a few days ago. We put it up on melanoidnation.org. There was a shooting out there in Chicago in broad daylight. Somebody caught it on a dash cam. It wasn't a police officer. There was somebody. It was a civilian automobile. It might have been a city worker or somebody, who knows. But it wasn't a cop, but it was somebody's dash cam that was parked. And they caught this shooting. There was a shooting in broad daylight. I want y'all to look at this. I want y'all to look at this. This happened in Chicago last week. I want you to look at this. All right. Now, this was a shooting that happened in Chicago last week. Now, let me explain what you just saw. There's somebody's dash cam in the car. Now, this person was walking beside a car, and the car was basically acting as a shield for this guy. He starts shooting at somebody. The car goes down the street. He runs and jumps in the car and drives off. Okay? I'm going to play it again. I want y'all to really look at it. So you got this dude. He's shooting in broad daylight. A car protecting him. He hops in the car and drives off. Now, the car was protecting him. Let me show y'all again. Because they always talk about all these shootings in Chicago. And they blame it on gang members. Look at it again. All right. Now, you look at this video. What appears to be a white dude who clearly looks like an undercover cop. That dude who shot, everything about him looks like undercover cop. He might as well have had a name tag that says undercover cop. That looked real damn suspicious. Man, he looks like an undercover cop. The way he's holding his gun was like some type of law enforcement training. Just look. Look. Now, this shooting was done last week in Chicago. They didn't catch anybody. Nothing else. This came out last week. You heard nothing else of it. This came out last week. You heard nothing else of it. You didn't hear about nobody getting arrested or nothing. You heard nothing else of it. If you look at the show First 48, you can solve a shooting or whatever in 48 hours. Without video. You're trying to tell me a person who looks like an undercover cop or whatever you shoot somebody or shoot at somebody in broad daylight. Broad daylight. There's people walking around, a little white lady walking around, the whole shebang. You shoot somebody in broad daylight. It's caught on dash cam. The car you jump into is on dash cam. All they got to do is enhance the video so you can see the license plate. You can see the license plate. But they didn't catch this person. You shot a motherfucker in broad daylight. You can see the make, model, and license plate of the car, but you ain't catch nobody. One more time. Dude, you could see the make and the model and the license plate of the car. All you got to do is enhance the video to see the license plate. Even if you didn't have the license plate, you can trace the make and model of that car. And you got a witness, but they didn't get nobody, man. Come on. Because that's one of them. They didn't catch him, and that's a damn cop, dude. That's a cop. He looks like a cop, shoots like a cop. That's a cop, man. They didn't catch him because he's a cop. That's the only thing that makes sense. So when y'all hear about 20 and 50 people got shot over the weekend, stop running with the coon train where we need to do better. You got people like that out there doing a lot of those shootings. How many that just happened to get secretly shot on, mistakenly shot on camera? They caught it on camera. The car was a shield for the dude. The person in the car was the getaway driver. If you look at the car, the dude got in the car when it went down the street. That was a setup. Those are cops, man. Those were cops. They used to do that out here in LA, man. It's well known. Cops used to engage in drive-by shootings to instigate beefs with different gangs. They would do a shooting and then blame the gang for it. They keep that up. They used to do that out here all the time. And you think those corrupt-ass Chicago cops ain't doing the same thing? Yeah, they had to pay people off for torturing them out there in Chicago. They had torture facilities out there that they would take you and beat you. And we ran another story on Illinois Nation. They had a brother who they caught him on a gun charge, and they made this brother dress up. They put deer antlers on the dude and pretended that he was like an animal. And they took pictures of the dude. We put that on illinoisnation.org. They're corrupt to the bone out there, man. And you heard nothing else about this, a shooting in broad daylight in Chicago. And you hear nothing of it. You hear nothing else about it. Let's see what this is. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, man, this is Paul from out in Austin, Texas.
What's up, Paul?
Man, it's good to hear from you. I've been sending you a couple emails. I got one, much respect back from you. What I'm looking for is I'm trying to figure out if you would like to donate to my organization. It's called Empower My Education. Mm-hmm. And what I'm doing is I'm giving away scholarships for 2 students to come to a preschool out in the nicest part of Austin. And I'm the only African-American teacher. There's no African-American students at the time. And I'm also offering 2 spots for the after-school program.
All right. Email me some more information, brother. You're doing an advertisement right now. Email me, brother. All right. I don't. Cats get on the air and just start advertising, and then that kind of goes over people's heads because nobody knows what you're talking about. You know. So you got to email me what you got going on because people, I don't want this to just be like an avenue. People just throw out random shit. Nobody know what you're talking about. Nobody can really verify. I like to verify stuff. Y'all got to stop doing that. Just hopping on the air, advertising shit. Now, I don't know what you got going on. You dig? I don't know what you got going on. I don't know if it's legit. You got a lot of people out here who say they're going to do stuff for kids. Look, for example, there were a lot of GoFundMe pages and Indiegogo pages for Eric Sheppard. All of those were fake. His mom told me that. All of those pages for Eric Sheppard, all these Indiegogo, them just are fake pages. Because I think she had one GoFundMe page, but they kept taking it down. They wouldn't let her get money for Eric Sheppard. You dig? So a lot of those pages are fake. You dig? So that's the thing. I can't answer everybody's email, Lodi. I'm not obligated to answer everybody's. I get 1 million emails a day. I can't answer everybody's email. You dig? I get to your shit when I can get to it. But I'm just not obligated to answer everybody's shit. Sometimes people get offended if I don't call them back, if I don't answer them. And I say this to everybody. Look, I'm not obligated to hit anybody else back just because y'all hit me up for something. You know, I get a lot of emails. I can't answer everybody. You know, email me some more shit that you got going on. If I can fuck with it, I can. If not, you move on and roll with somebody who can fuck with it. You dig? That's the name of the game. Yeah, just calling me over and over again. If, you know, find somebody else who would fuck with what you got going on. Just calling me over and over again, that's not the answer. If I can rock with it at one particular time or whatever, I can. There's a lot of shit that I do. Yeah, I'm only one person. See, people got this whole thing. You dig? And again, a lot of times when I look and see something, I get 1 million Renum Spoons emails. I get Renum Spoons emails all the time, man. So I'm not hitting everybody back up with a damn Renum Spoon idea. I just can't. I get them all the time. Shit. I know sometimes you think your idea is the greatest idea, whatever. But I get Renum Spoon calls and emails all the time. Hey, Tariq, man, I got a brand new toothpaste that if you put it in your mouth, man, it vibrates your tonsils and it brushes the teeth automatically. I just need some investors. You know, I get Renum Spoon ideas all the time, bro. Hey, Tariq, and people always use kids, and because I'm suspicious of that. When people always well, I got these kids that I'm dealing with. I got a bunch of kids. Okay. Where are the kids, bro? Well, I ain't got it now, but what I'm doing, I'm building something for the kids. I ain't, okay. Because I help schools out all the time, but it's already schools that's up and running. And I know what they got. I can verify that they're up and running, and I help schools all the time. But a lot of times, cats just be hitting me up with ideas and all this old shit. You know, and I can't see what you got going. And look, you got people out here that will use kids to come up and lie. You got niggas out here saying they're doing documentaries for kids. Look at Crispy's bum ass. This nigga, what up, everybody? I got a documentary for kids, and this nigga done pocketed the money, and now I think, from what I understand, this nigga's about to rip off some more people. And if you get ripped off by a Krispy Kreme twice, you deserve it. If a Krispy Kreme can rip you off more than once, sometimes people deserve to get ripped off. You dig? Dude, so you never know who's telling the truth, who's true to the game, who has a good agenda, whose agenda is true. You dig? Man. Let's see who we got. What's up? Who's calling?
Yeah. It's the guy that called the other day on the calling card, and he was kind of funny and shit.
Aren't you from Toronto, right? Canada?
No, Ottawa.
Ottawa, Canada. You the African brother, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. What's up?
Yeah. I'm from Burundi.
Burundi. There you go.
Yeah.
What part of Africa is Burundi from? Is that West Africa? Where is that?
No, it's East Africa. It's part of the East African community.
Okay. You know they got like a free trade union deal going on over there right now. You familiar with that?
Yeah, no, not really, but that's on the positive note. But there's also a negative. There's a crisis, kind of a crisis, because the president is trying to be elected for a third term.
Yeah.
And well, it's illegal in the constitution of the country, you know.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
basically,
go ahead.
basically there's a lot of protests, and myself, I participated in protests here at the Parliament here in Ottawa.
So what the protest was against? What exactly?
Against the third term of the president.
The third term. Okay, so y'all didn't. So is the president? Do y'all think he was put in there by Western powers, or what's the deal?
Well, the first time he got elected was by the Parliament, you know.
Okay. Okay.
And the second time he was by the people.
Okay. There you go. All right, so what was the question you wanted for the show? Wait. Stop. What was the question you had for the show? I don't want to get too much into some other shit. What was the question you had?
My question was, what do you think should be the solution for this little crisis that's for the worst not to happen? You know, why do you think it should be the solution? Because like the people, we say no third term is eligible in the Constitution, but like the president is saying no. I can run for the third term because, you know.
Yeah, well, I guess he shouldn't. If the people don't want him there, he shouldn't run for a third term. But I'm assuming that he was put there by Western powers. You know, he's part of a puppet government. That's what it sounds like. The thing is, you know, you need your own people that you need a person in there that the people of Burundi, they elect. But you also need to protect that person. And the thing is, the white supremacists, when you get rid of one of their puppet leaders, and put in your own leader, all of a sudden Boko Haram shows up, and then ISIS and Ebola. So the white supremacists, they know how to attack you indirectly. So this is why you guys got to be very careful in these countries, in Africa, about letting in any suspected white supremacists. You got to understand that they come in as missionaries. They come in with smiles on their faces, and that's how they get a foothold in there. Y'all got to start saying, hey, look, we don't need none of y'all suspected white supremacists in here doing anything until we get our shit together. Y'all got to get bold like that. The problem is a lot of our African brothers, man, when y'all see the white supremacists, y'all hearts light up because they have all the resources and you let them in, and y'all got to start really shutting shit down like some of these black communities here need to start doing. We got to stop being so dependent on the white supremacists. That's the main thing. And stop jumping for joy when y'all see them. That's why I want to get over there and work with brothers about opening schools up and all that. We can do that on our own without letting the white supremacists go in there, opening up a school, and using that as a way to get access to the resources in the land and everything else of means in those countries, because there's too many resources in Africa for us in Africa to not be capitalizing off those resources. You feel me?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we should definitely keep it between us, you know?
Yes, indeed, man. Much respect, man.
All right, thanks. Much respect, bro.
Thank you, brother. All right. That was him. This is him right here who just called. Right here. Hold on.
Are you want me to? How do you feel? Love real. Are you want me to?
I had to get him. Y'all know I had to get him. I had to get him. You dig? But yeah, man, they got this new free trade African Union thing going, and I hope that pops off, man. I hope it, you know, man, I really hope this gets some good economic footing going on for brothers and sisters over there in Africa, man. I really, really hope it gets popping, man. And I got to get over there. I really want to get over to Ghana. I got to take my yellow fever shots so I can get over there. I'm going to go to Hawaii next week. I got to do some writing out there. I'm going to Hawaii next week. And I got to get my mind. I haven't been out. I haven't been on vacation. I've been just grinding so hard with it. So I get to go to Hawaii with the family, recharge, get my brain cells in order. So now when I get back, because I'm going to be touring this summer, so I got to get it popping. Let's see who this is. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, Tariq? It's me, Keith, man, from Inglewood.
What's up, Keith from the Wood? What's on your mind, man?
Oh, man, it's all good, man. Chilling, man. Been a big fan of yours for a while, man. I've been hipping to my other homeboys and shit, and they really like, yo, man, he's so thorough. I really identify with him, so you're really changing people's lives, man. Just want to say I support your Hidden Colors.
Yes, sir.
Donating money, just, you know. So my question is this, man, just to get to a point. I'm an artist. I'm an illustrator, and I'm working with this brother right now. And I met him at Target at the Starbucks Cafe. I was sitting right there working on some artwork. So he came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I draw." And I was like, "Yeah, you know." So I was like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm working on this idea." So I was like, "Okay." So, you know, we started talking about it. You know, he gave me his idea, gave me his character concepts, and I was like, "Okay, let me flesh them out so I can get, you know, show them to you and see what you think." So I've been thinking about it. So I've been, you know, networking, talking to him, and we're about to get this going. My thing is this. I've done it before where I done things for people, drew characters, drew landscapes for people, and now I was paid before by 3 people before, but I drew a concept character for a friend of mine before he was teaching me boxing, and when I drew for him, I gave him my idea, I gave him the concepts. He was like, "Okay, cool, this is good." I said, "Okay, what about the money? Where's the payment at?" He said, "No, that was the boxing lessons are for, you know, that's why I'm paying you." And I was like, "No, I wanted, you know, for my payment," and we had a falling out. I never got a chance to receive the money. So, and I don't know what he's doing with my characters. I don't know if he made a movie about it. I'm not getting credit for it, so I don't know where it's gone. So I just want your input on dealing with people, especially people you just meet at, you know, spots like Starbucks, and you're talking to them, and you're like, "Hey, you know, I'm dropping characters out," you know. And I wonder, how do you talk about the form of payment and copyright?
Okay, what you do, man, and this is our thing. See, with black folks, we get into hotep mode when it comes to doing business with each other. We try to hotep each other real quickly. And we got to start asking for our money up front and stop being scared to do it and stop worrying about being offensive when we do it. Because we know how black folks get to acting when other black folks ask for money. They start, you know, running around, "Oh, damn, come on, man. Come on, brother. Hey, hotep, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother." When people hit me up, I get that all the time. And I used to make jokes about that on my show all the time when people would hit me up to do lectures at certain black schools. I can always tell when they were going to be bullshitting about the money because everything was like, "Hey, brother, peace. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Hey, hotep, brother." When they start talking that hotep, assalamu alaikum, that the scam is coming. They're trying to butter you up for the bullshit to do it for free. And I'm like, I'll let you know up front, this is my fee. This is what you have to pay. You got to pay a deposit. You got to pay this. You got to just straight up and down ask for your paper. If you want me to work on your art, I'm going to need half the money up front, then I can do great artwork for you. It's just that simple. Don't be afraid to ask for your money up front because if people see they can get over on you, they will get over on you. And they know better because they know not to play that game with white people or Asians or any other group. Other group of people,
right.
You can't even step to them if you don't have your money in your hand. You can't even go into a Korean store if your money ain't in your hand. They're like, "Look, you buy now. Don't come in here, you ain't trying to buy."
Yeah, that's how they are.
Yeah, they're not playing, and black folks know, and we get right to buying too. So we get real funny.
I had a situation happen over here on Imperial and Crenshaw. I was buying some t-shirts. I said, "Kind of try these t-shirts on." And Asian dude was like, "You know your size, man. I gotta try it on." I said, "Man, kind of try it on. I got the money for you." And I was thinking how you were talking about, you know, money style bullshit. So I put the $20. I said, "Man, here's the money." I threw it at him. I was like, "Man, let me try these t-shirts." And he threw the shirt at me, and I was like, "What the?"
Yeah. They don't play games. They're like, you spend money or get the hell up out of here. You buy now. And we get real funny style with each other. You make them, you go just like that, nigga. You buy now, brother. You want me to do this art? You buy now, and you keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Don't let people waste your time. Just let them know. Put down the deposit. This is what my rate is. I don't want no boxing lessons. Somebody hit me up with some shit like that one time. He wanted me to give him like some of my private coaching sessions. Like a private phone session, which cost $500 at the time when I was doing them. And he was going to give me some damn kickboxing tips. I'm like, nigga, I don't want to be no damn kickboxer. Give me my money. Get the hell on somewhere. Man, if you don't get the hell on, I don't need no damn lessons from you. So don't do that. Just look, make people pay up and get the hell on somewhere. Just keep it pushing, man. It's just that simple. Ask for your money. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Thanks for the call, brother. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for your money. Do not be afraid to ask for your money. You dig? Yeah, this nigga said he's gonna give me some kickboxing tips. The fuck I need with some kickboxing tips, nigga? Who I look like, Rampage Jackson? I don't need no kickboxing tips. I need that money. Damn. What's up? We got somebody look like from San Diego. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, this is Alex from San Diego.
What's up, Al? What's going on in San Diego, man?
Nothing much. I was in a barbershop on Friday, and I was talking to some of the people in the barbershops for like some immediate solutions as far as black empowerment. And I was reading Dr. Claude Anderson's Powernomics book, and he was saying that one of the things that we could do was actually pull out of the political party and vote as a bloc.
Right.
One of the barber shop owners were thinking that that would be effective, but if we were to try to buy off a politician, that corporations would knock us off.
Well, look, the thing is, when you vote as a bloc and have your money, see, they need those numbers, and they need the money. You see, we'll vote in large numbers, but we never have an agenda. See, when you vote in large numbers as a bloc, have an agenda behind the vote, which we never do, and then put money on a politician, corporations can't do anything because the politicians still need your numbers. So 40 million black folks, that will make an election go one way or another. So if you say, look, we ain't fucking with the Democrats, you don't automatically get our vote. We're independent. So even if the conservatives, if they say they can do something for us, we'll rock with the conservatives. We'll rock with anybody who can do something for us as a group, which is basically something about the prison system or whatever. We had this conversation in the think tank. So you got to be bold enough and get off that hound dog loyalty to the Democratic Party and say, hey, look, we don't need none of y'all. You need us, and vote as a bloc and put your money behind it, and the corporations can't do anything.
Okay, because he was trying to say also to have a black and Latino uprising, or I mean not uprising, but kind of like a coalition.
No, because the Latino, they already have a coalition. They don't need us. They got a coalition right now with Abel and Gore and all those people. They helped get Barack Obama elected, and they put money up. They had a PAC and a bloc that they voted with. And they voted together, put money on Barack Obama's campaign, and that's why Barack Obama will speak out for immigration laws. You did? So he's been a great friend to the Hispanic community. He speaks out specifically for Hispanic needs. You feel me? All right, man, thanks for the call. There's a lot of noise going on in the background. I hate yelling over folks. But yeah, they speak out. Who is Mindy? What's this Mindy person? Okay. Yeah, block that Mindy person. She's going to have to go. Yeah, black folks, let's get off that coalition. We ain't getting ain't no black and brown coalition. Let's just stop it. And much respect to my whatever Latinos are. I don't know what a Latino is, to be honest. It's a very ubiquitous term. I don't know what it is. But shout out to my Latino brothers, Dominican, Puerto Rocks. Shout out to y'all. Much love to you. But when it comes down to the political game and collective power, there is no coalition. Every other group competes against us. That's a sad reality black folks do not want to own up to. Every other group kind of votes or work against us when it all boils down to it. There is no black and brown coalition. There is no black and brown coalition, family. That's just a harsh reality. That's no disrespect to anybody. Black folks, we got to look out for ourselves. Let's get off that, hey, us black and Latinos, us, the Latinos, whatever that is, they don't mention us when shit comes up. They don't say us Latinos and the black. They never say that. If they do, point it to me. They don't include us in none of their shit. They do not include us in nothing. That's a reality. I'm not saying anything out of school here, and I don't blame them. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. We're the only people who have this whole put everybody needs before our own needs shit. That's us with that insecure bullshit. Because when you speak of Latino, what kind of Latino are you speaking about? Because you got white people who are Latino. What's a Latino? Explain to me what a Latino is. Because nobody can give a clear definition on what a Latino is. So that's why I'm like, there's no coalition with a group of people. You can't even define who they are. George Zimmerman is a Latino, but he's a white supremacist. Do we have a coalition with George Zimmerman? So what I don't know what these terms are. I only know about white supremacy and melanoid empowerment. That's it. That's why I don't get caught up in these little vague ass terms. Enough of that. I'm just melanoid empowerment is what I'm talking about. Melanoid people, that's a term that encompasses us. Melanoid people affected by systematic white supremacy, that's what we need to get down on. All right, let me go see what's up with my children upstairs. All right, y'all, look, don't forget, man, go to TariqElite.com, get that fresh gear. Go to TariqRadio.com. Let me show y'all a link. Did y'all get my lecture? Hold on. My lecture, International Racism. If y'all don't have it, y'all need to get that right now. Let me give y'all the link. I got a lecture called International Racism. A lot of folks ask me about, speaking of, while I'm looking up the lecture information, let me give y'all the link. Hold on, check this out. Real good game in this lecture right here, family. If y'all don't have it, y'all can get this at TariqRadio.com. Go to the pay-per-view special section, or you can click this link right here. And you can watch it right now on demand. It's called International Racism. It's an hour lecture I did in London. Real good information, man. Real good stuff. A lot of folks are asking me. I've been posting the videos on Instagram. I got my self-balancing scooter that I love. That's my favorite toy. I got a couple of them. They got different names. They got different brands of them. One is the Iohawk. The other one is called the Funky Duck. They got different kinds. But that's my toy right now, that scooter. It's like a Segway, but no handles on it. I love that shit. I post up videos of me skating on those things on my Instagram. I do want to come to DC. I don't know when I'm going to DC. Man, I be jamming on that shit, dude. I get on that bitch in the middle of the night, getting my groove on, man. I love that thing. I be skating around my house on that thing. I love it. So you about to get a unicycle, Lola? Man, I love that thing. It's dangerous, nigga. My hand is still fucked up. I messed my hand up on that thing the first day I got it. The first day I got it, I tore my hand up. I'm going to post my wound when I got it. I'm going to post that on Instagram. But the thing is, I hurt my hand, but I got up like a boss. That's why I can rock on it so heavy, see? And a lot of folks were asking about the song that I was grooving to. There's an album, there's a group called Tuxedo. I played one of their songs on my last episode of the Tariq Radio Show, a song called So Good. There's a group called Tuxedo. It's some white dudes. It's these white dudes. The group is called Tuxedo. They got the baddest, tightest R&B album I've heard in about 10 years. They did an R&B album. Nigga, that album, Ola, have you heard the album? Dude, those white dudes got the best album I've heard in about 10 years. R&B, because it's like funk. It's like old school funk. Mayor Hawthorne, yeah. The novelty of the group is basically all their songs sound like they're from the early 80s. The group is called Tuxedo. Jake One worked with Dr. Dre. He's a well-respected producer. White boy. Bad white boy. That album, you told me about it in London? Okay. Man, that album, whoo, that album is hot the whole way through. I've rarely heard like a hot-ass R&B album that's tight all the way through, man. Their album, look, I give it up to you. You a white dude, y'all get it in, I give you your props. The album is called, I think it's Tuxedo. It's the self-titled album. But it's a group, it's some white boys. And their album is funky as hell, man. And that's the thing, man. People in the dominant society, they study shit. From start to finish, that album is hot as hell, man. If you like that old school 80s funk, man, you can tell what these dudes did, because the Jake One, he's a producer. So they just studied, they dug in the crates and studied old school music, studied the keys, the chords, the vocal arrangements, and made an album based on that timeline, man. It's incredible. Incredible. Superb album, man. Yeah, man. Tuxedo is spelled just the regular way. The album is by a group called Tuxedo. Best R&B album I've heard in 10 years. Hands down, man. Eric Robinson, man. He makes, is it Robinson or Robertson? He's the shit too. He works with him and Fonte and all those dudes, man. They make some hot shit. Eric Robinson, he's real underrated. All right, China. No, I just kind of mess around with the guitar. You dig? Yeah. You just got back? Where'd you go? You went where? Did you eat there?
No, I went to the mall to get the cookies and Subway, but they were closed.
Okay, you did. Was TJ still asleep, or did you take him with you?
Sleeping right.
Okay. What's Cecile doing? Okay. I was about to come upstairs in a minute. Okay. You're not gonna come and say hi to everybody, Vina? I'll take them out. I must stay on just a little while longer so y'all can see Sia. But yeah, man, that album, man, is the Bazam, man. Nicolay. What's that? Nicolay. I haven't heard of Nicolay. But I'm telling y'all, man, the Hawthorne, hands down, man, those white dudes, they represented, man. I'm not mad at them. They got it in. And the thing is, you don't see a lot of black groups get down like that because, see, we always want black folks. We want the new thing. And now it ain't even about the new thing. Our thing is, because the way the music industry is set up, we got to have a pop hit. We got to make a pop hit out the door. It's that type of shit. So, we don't really get to study the old school folks and really learn what they did and get it popping like that. But let me tell you another R&B singer right here. This is an Asian dude, man. I'm going to play him right now. Y'all got to get this album right here. This motherfucker is the bomb right here. His album is better than Tuxedo's. Hold on.
To believe, come back, baby, please, 'cause we belong together. Who is a magolino when times get up? Who's gonna talk to me on the phone till the sun comes up? Who's gonna take your place? There ain't nobody fair. Oh, baby, baby, we belong together, baby. When you left, I lost a part of me. It's still so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, 'cause we belong together. Where am I gonna lean on when times get up? Who's gonna talk to me till the sun comes up? Who's gonna take your place? There ain't nobody there. Oh, baby, baby, we belong together.
Shit, I smell a Grammy. Nigga. Let me see my boy. That's the baby. Look at P-Nizzle. That's Peanut. Look at Asir. Look at the big boy. Just big for no reason. Look at them big old buff baby arms. Hey. Yeah, he didn't have nothing on William Hung. William Hung ain't have nothing on him, rather. What's up, man? What's up? This is my big old baby. He's 3 months. This is a seer. He'll be 4 months in June.
He's just turned
June. When is this? 13?
15.
15. Okay, I'll be forgetting my children's birthday. Yeah. Yeah, my man was getting it in. Yeah, he got his little mittens on. You know, the kids got to have their mittens on. Yeah, they got to have their little mittens on. Why are you looking at your mom? He stays staring at his mom. Why are you looking at your mom, buddy? Look at people. Look at the people in the room. See? Yeah, you can get that album on iTunes.
Why is he so light?
You say, why is he so light? Well, he looks light on camera for some reason.
You mean he looks lighter on camera?
He looks, yeah, right now he looks lighter. It's the camera.
He's light.
He's not, you know, he looks real light on the camera. Say he looks just like Peanut? Nah. Everybody say he looks like me. TJ, I don't know. People say TJ looks more like Peanut. What's his shirt say? His shirt say I need a vacation. What's it say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, stop bobbing your little baby head, buddy.
He's so light. TJ's not light.
Okay, stop bobbing that little head. Man. Yeah, that tuxedo out, Mr. Bomb, man. Let's see what we got on the. This is brother from San Diego calling. Like, hello, who's calling?
Uncle Flex, it's your nephew, Rasta P from the chat room. I'm in San Diego.
What's up, Rasta? What's on your mind, fam?
Man, I just want to contribute something that Fatima said on the podcast on Wednesday, and where she talks about, she says, hey, I get crappy service from my people, and I want to know, when we do get crappy service from my people, do we immediately call them out right there on it, or do we just say, hey, I'm not going to shop with you no more, because I do want to support them, but like your experience at Sweet Peas, or not Sweet Peas, Sylvia's in New York City, you know what I mean? Like, do we say something like that, or we just let it go?
You know, I don't make a big deal out of it. Like, if it's something that's consistent, then I'll be like, okay, hey, you know, let me holler at one of the waitresses or something like that if it's consistent. But the thing is, black folks, we deal with shitty service when we walk into liquor stores, we walk in the Asian gas station. They talking to us behind bulletproof glasses, looking at us crazy with their guns under the trigger, under the table. So we get shitty service all the time, and we take it and don't say nothing, and we keep going. But all of a sudden, if a black person is rude, then fuck this black shit. Now we want to be on that. So that's my thing. I don't like to tax them on some other shit, and I ain't taxing these other groups. So
I'm not with that either. I want to know how you felt about that. How should we go about that?
You can holler at him, and just like Claude Anderson say, you kind of pull him to the side and say, okay, look, I need you to kind of increase your service and do this a little bit better because I do want to support you. So if you just holler at people, just pull them, they can respect that. If you just pull them to the side and let them know what's popping, they can respect that. And that's the best way to do it instead of making some big brouhaha about it. But thank you, brother. There you go.
You want to take him here?
Yeah, no, you can take him. I'm about to go upstairs right now. We're going to watch that movie. What's that movie we're going to watch? The Loft. Have y'all seen The Loft? We're going to watch that tonight. There you go. Say goodbye, Peanut. Yeah, we're going to watch The Loft. That movie looks good. Anybody seen that movie? Yeah, I want to see The Loft. I don't have title. And y'all heard the controversy about that. They're coming out saying, well, Jay-Z ain't really the owner, which I'm not shocked. And a lot of people then came out saying that Jay-Z is not really the owner of Tidal. And they got to stop doing that. They got to stop with the whole put the black person out there, making it seem like they own the whole joint, and you dig.
They said it was whack. It was all right. It was good. Some people say it was good. Some people say it was all
We're gonna
right.
see. We'll see. We'll see the Loft. We're gonna watch it tonight. And hey, look, I want Jay. I'm a big fan of Jay, but they did the same thing with what was it, the Nets? One of those teams where they were making it seem like he was one of the owners and he owned like a very minuscule percentage. So hey man, I like my man Jay. I just get your own 100%. Okay, that's a big burp here. Man, just get your 100% owned, black owned venture. Shit. That's like with Byron Allen. No matter what you say about Byron Allen is about owning stuff, and I am not mad at him. I'm a big fan of Byron Allen right now, man. I'm a big fan of Byron. Oh, you found a hotel? Okay. Which one?
There's a couple of.
Okay, I'm gonna look up. Oh, cool.
But probably the wine.
Okay. Check out the Raid 2.
So cute.
Yeah. Sony plans to take Beyonce's song off title. Yeah, I saw that with the all-white staff and the whole shebang. Hey, man, I like Jay. I like Jay, but I just like black-owned stuff, too. You dig?
Cheeks.
You gotta own your stuff outright. You dig? And that's why I like owning the Hidden Color series. I like outright owning it because that way we can do whatever we want to do with it. Raid 2 is tight. I never saw Raid 1. What is Raid about? What's the movie about?
Are you happy?
I haven't seen Raid 1.
So cute. Junior's knocked out.
The Raid. What is it? I own most of my book rights. I gotta check out the Raid. I gotta check out what Raid 1 is. Most of my books I own the rights to. The most important one for me to get the rights to was The Art of Mackin. That was the main one. Because that, to this day, that's still my biggest seller. That book just consistently sells. Just year after year, month after month. The Art of Mackin. And you can get that at Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com. But that book consistently sells. You say Jay-Z get niggas blackballed. That's why I like him. No, I just like Jay-Z. I like his hustle. I like his grind. Yeah, I like his hustle. I like his grind. Raid. I gotta see that. I gotta watch Raid. Is Raid 1 good? I gotta peep that. I don't own all the rights to Play It Be Played. That's through Simon & Schuster. They own the publishing rights to that. And my book, The Mac Within, Penguin Books owns the publishing rights to that. But I own the rights to The Elite Way, The Art of Gold Digging, and The Art of Mackin. And again, The Art of Mackin. And that's why it's important to start building certain things at a young age. And I'm so glad I did that book because that book has just consistently made paper. That book has been a bestseller. So I could retire off that book alone. If I did nothing else, I could live off The Art of Mackin. Excuse me. I could literally live off The Art of Mackin for the rest of my life. The Elite Way is my favorite too. The Art of Mackin is a more fun book. The Elite Way is a more in-depth book. It's more in-depth with game. The Elite Way is very in-depth with game. But The Art of Mackin, it's a juggernaut, man. It won't stop selling. That movie consistently is on the bestsellers list. It still sells to this day. I get thousands of dollars every month for that book. So that's another thing. That's why I wanted to get all the publishing and own the publishing rights for all of my books back, as many as I can, so I can pass those down to my children. See, the publishing rights and all that, that's getting passed down to my kids. Because, man, they'll get you on the publishing, man. They will try to screw you. I had to get my royalties for the books that's with Simon & Schuster and Penguin, man. I had to go through some legal stuff, you dig? Because what happens is that they'll try to send the money to the literary agent, and then there's a whole bunch of shit. They got to try to skim your money, and then you got to go through hoops to get it. That's why I got to get the rights to all my stuff, so then you can pass that stuff down. Yeah, I'm gonna write some books in the future, some more books. I'm just having so much fun doing these films, you know, with the Hidden Colors series. I enjoy that. And while I'm working on Hidden Colors, there's another movie we're working on now. We're getting the script together now. It's a real tight concept, and we're gonna shoot that pretty quickly. This is a crime drama, and we're getting that together now, and we're gonna start casting probably in August for that. I want to either shoot it out here in LA or Detroit. I probably want to do this new movie in LA or Detroit. Yeah, that's right, Hodge. I'm gonna be like Blind Melly Jelly. The Game Advisor is still coming out. I've been working on that book for 5 years. I've shelved that book, man. I've had that book shelved for a long time. I got to get back on that book. I got to get back on the Game Advisor eventually and finish that. Babadook. I haven't seen Babadook. But anyway, man, don't forget, man, go to TariqRadio.com. Get the brand new pay-per-view special. Also, go to Everett's barbecue joint in Oakland, because they're bringing all the money that's passed down to the black community. So Everett's barbecue is where it's at. Go to TariqElite.com. Go to TariqRadio.com. Check me out on tour this summer. Go to TariqLive.com and get your tickets. And I'm out of here. Holla.